Hey, hey everyone. Okay, so today's gonna be really great live. Okay, very informative. If you can, whether you're watching the replay or you're on the live, please share this live, please, because more women need to know the truth about birth control. Okay, I know it's a very controversial subject. A lot of people may not be happy that I'm really revealing the dangers of birth control. And I'm going to have a special guest on, okay, Taneka. Really excited about that, to share her experience on birth control, okay? So I'm going to wait for her to come on. But I'm going to be telling you guys, not just Taneka's going to share her personal story, but I'm going to be telling you guys studies that I've done on birth control. These are things I've known for years. I didn't really, in the beginning of my coaching, I didn't talk much about birth control because it's such a controversial subject. And a lot of women have been brainwashed by their doctors or just in general that birth control is safe, birth control is okay. So I definitely want to shed light on, hey, what you're actually, putting into your body, what you're actually doing to your body, what you're actually doing to your hormones after being on birth control. As a holistic women wellness coach, I've just seen so much, as far as women getting fibroids, heavy bleeding, and just, so many, from diabetes to heavy bleeding to fibroids to PCOS to uterine prolapse. There's so many symptoms from being on birth control for so many years. Okay. And even some women haven't even been on it that long. And once they get off, there's just so many symptoms that they're experiencing. And the majority of women that are on birth control are not on it as a contraceptive. They're actually on it because, maybe they've had heavy bleeding. Maybe they've had, fibroids or any other issue dealing with their uterine health. It could be even headaches or acne, and their doctor just prescribed them birth control. Like, how many women are not even on it? For 60% of women actually that's on birth control is not even on it to prevent pregnancies. They're on it for other reasons. So to me, that's crazy. So I'm going to be reading you guys some studies and telling you guys what birth control actually does to the body. Okay. So if you guys can share this live, please share this live because we need more women to know about this. Okay. And if you can also, if you're in, definitely say hey. We'd love to say, tell you guys hi, who's on the live. Let me see if I can tag Taneka in here. Okay. Don't think she's on yet. But anyway, so if you guys have any experiences with birth control, you guys are welcome to share that in the comment section. I know when I did a post on birth control a couple of days ago, there were so many women who commented on there, shared their experience. There was some women on there too trying to say, I've been on birth control for this long. Okay, she's here. Yay. Okay, I've been on birth control for this long and nothing has happened. But they don't realize that, yes, a lot of women, while they're on birth control, not all, but a lot of women, while they're on birth control, since their natural hormones are being suppressed, since their ovulation is being suppressed, they're not feeling those symptoms. Okay, so that's why this live is so important. Hey, Jasmine. Hey, ladies. Let me get Taneka on here so we can get started. Hold on. How do you do this? Okay, allow guests to, I think there's a button you have to press, Taneka, or hold on. Sorry, y'all. There we go. All right, I just sent you an invite, okay? So yes, definitely excited about having Taneka on here to share with you guys her experience on birth control. And like I said, if you guys want to share your experience in the comment section, definitely, because I want more women to know about this because there's so many women that's on birth control right now. Maybe they're thinking about, getting on birth control. Maybe their doctors have prescribed them birth control based on what they're dealing with. They have to know the other side of it because a lot of women don't. You'd be surprised. When I posted, when I post things about birth control, there's always women on there shocked. They're like, what? They didn't know that birth control increases their birth control increases their breast cancer risk 30%. And not just breast cancer, other cancers as well. And when you're on birth control, you are suppressing your natural ovulation, which is so important for, you don't see the invite? That's weird. It says sent. Okay. I think there's something you have to press, Taneka, because it says allow viewers to request to join you live. That's weird. I see it says sent. Sorry, y'all. Is there a button you have to press that to come on? I had birth control. I heard blood clots from birth control haven't been on since. Yes, I had also had a client that's had blood clots from birth control. Maybe because I'm on my laptop. That may be it. Try your cell phone. Try your cell phone. Hopefully that works. Yes, birth control. Birth control increases the risk for blood clots significantly. It increases the risk for insulin resistance. It increases the risk for cardiovascular issues. So many health issues, okay? And like I said, I don't know what it is because I look at birth control the same way I would look at cigarettes, people nowadays, people that smoke cigarettes, they know all the risk that comes with cigarettes, right? But I mean, they could potentially get lung cancer, and there's many other things you can get when you smoke cigarettes. However, when it comes to birth control, women are on it. They're not aware of the risk. I mean, they may hear it, but they don't think it's a big deal. They don't think it's going to happen to them. And I'm like, okay, bring them on video. All right. So I just sent you a request. Yay. Okay. So it's probably because you were on your laptop. It says adding. So yeah, it's really, really important for women to notice. Like, I don't understand why women don't think it's such a big risk. Hey, Taneka.
Hey, I'm trying to get my ring situated. Hold on.
Can you let us know if you guys can hear both of us perfectly?
Okay, there we go. Hey, y'all.
I don't know why I can hear you a little bit, but not that much.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but it still sounds a little bit low. Is that just me, or can you guys hear both of us? Okay, maybe it's just me. Okay.
Do I need to go get headphones, maybe?
Try. You could try.
Okay. Give me a second.
Can you guys hear Taneka, or is it just me? Can you guys hear her perfectly? Jasmine says yes. How about everybody else? Can you guys hear us perfectly? Let us know, because it's definitely an important live. We want to share some information with you guys. Okay, nobody else is commenting. But yeah, so birth control comes with serious risk, ladies. It's not without risk. I can hear. Okay, maybe it's just me. Okay, everybody can hear you, Taneka. I guess it was just me.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I got them just in case.
Okay. So I want to ask you, I'm so happy to have you on. You guys, make sure y'all are following Taneka. She's amazing. She's a business consultant, okay? She does, well, I want to let you introduce yourself, definitely. She's amazing. So I'm going to let you introduce yourself, of course, and then also I want to hear I'm sure the viewers, of course, want to hear your experience, with being on birth control and everything that you experienced. For people that's thinking about being on birth control or on it right now. So yes, all right.
Hey, everybody. My name is Taneka Johnson. So I am the owner of Cultivate with Taneka Johnson, and Sasha is actually one of my mastermind sisters. We were in the same coaching container together, and we've been cool ever since. So what do? I'm a business consultant and business coach. I'm an organizational development consultant and corporate wellness strategist. So that's a little bit about what I do, and I just love everything that Sasha serves up. Like, have y'all paid attention to her and her content? Like, she's so good about breaking down these dynamics as far as, health coaching as to why these things can be corrected in different manners, pushing the information that we don't really get exposed to, right? So I was just like, I have a really horrifying birth control story. I want to come on and share it just to help you advocate even more, because more women need to hear about these things. It's very, very important, because these are things that are literally killing us every day. And I was fortunate in my case to not have it take me out, but it definitely was still very, in some sense, debilitating when I get ready to tell it. So it definitely was devastating. It's definitely an experience that I will never forget. And it's definitely something that I've always said, if I got an opportunity to share and advocate, I was going to push and advocate for it, because it really was like a hard experience for me.
Yes, sorry. I don't know why. I wish I had my headphones near you. I can hear you, but it's like so low.
Okay, let me see.
Let me see.
Let's see if I can.
I guess it's just me.
Can you hear me better now?
Better. It's better. It's
Okay,
better.
good. It's probably the room and stuff like that. But yeah, okay. Hopefully y'all can hear me better now.
Yeah, let us know if you guys can hear Taneka, please. I can hear her really well. Okay, okay.
Okay,
So I
good,
guess it's
good,
just
good,
on
good.
my end. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna get my headphones.
Okay, no problem.
All right, can you guys see it? Okay, let me see if I can hear
Mhm.
you better now. Much
Okay,
better, much better. Okay,
cool,
good.
cool, cool.
Okay, so I want to know how long were you on birth control, and like what kind of things were you experiencing while you were on
So I was on birth control for 3 weeks. I was
it?
on birth control for 3 weeks. Literally, what happened was I was having really bad menstrual cycles, and apparently it's something that just runs in my family. But it got to the point to where what they typically go to immediately is like, we'll give you ibuprofen 800 to kind of settle it out. And it got to the point to where those weren't working. Like I would have to take like two of those, and I knew I shouldn't have been taking like two of those. Um, and so I had just asked my OBGYN, I just asked her, was there any other solution as to like trying to figure out how to get rid of, or at least try to diminish some of the pain from the menstrual cramping and stuff that I was experiencing, and even the clotting as well, because I used to clot really, really bad as well. And the first thing that she told me, she was like, well, have you ever tried birth control? And I said, no. My mom has never believed in birth control. She was kind of just like, you know what you're doing when you do it. I'm not gonna put you on it. So I had never been on birth control, and I think I was 27. So this was back in 2017. I'm 33 now, right? So I asked her, and I said, no, I never tried it before. And she said, okay, well, I think you should try it. And so she gave me this small little bitty pill. The name of it was called Taytula, is what it was called. And I think it was like either 1 gram or one, I want to say it was 1 gram of estrogen or something like that in
So
the
it was
pill,
like
something like that.
it was like a low hormonal birth control.
Very low hormonal. And she gave
Okay.
me like a sample box. So I'm pretty sure like a rep had been through there and they was trying to test it out or something like that anyway. So she gave me like a sample box to try, and I literally did not make it to my next cycle to see if it worked. Because over that
Wow.
3 weeks, I ended up developing blood clots in my legs.
Oh my
So
God.
yeah, what actually caused it to happen is I was sent on a work trip and we drove. So we were driving from Tennessee to Alabama. And during that work trip, after we got to our location, I realized that I had like a pain in my right calf, like right below my calf. It was kind of sore. So I just thought it was like a pull muscle or something like that. Maybe I moved wrong. And I went through that whole 3 days that we were down there and didn't realize I had a blood clot in my leg that was literally
Oh my
forming in my
goodness.
leg. So I had tried to put icy hot on it. I had tried to do everything that I could have did, while I was down there. And so of course we had to drive back and ended up driving back and the pain was worse. So as soon as we got off the road, I went to my orthopedic doctor because like I said, I thought I had pulled something or something else might have been wrong. Never would have thought it was a blood clot. Went to my orthopedic doctor, they checked it out, they was like, we don't see any issues. But the only other thing, if you just want to verify that it's not like a blood clot or something, he was like, we could send you over to the specialist so you can get an ultrasound just to rule that out as well. And I said, okay. So they sent me over to get it. And sure enough, she did the ultrasound. She came back and she was like, we have to rush you to the emergency room like right now. And I was like,
Wow.
so I was scared because I was doing all of this by myself. Like my mom wasn't with me or anything. And
Right.
so they ended up rushing me to the emergency room because she was like, you can't walk over there. We have to roll you over there in a wheelchair. And I
Mhm.
was just kind of like, what's so bad that y'all got to roll me over in a wheelchair? It was kind of scary. So they rushed me over to the emergency room and I literally was just laying there on the bed. And I basically laid in the emergency room for 6 hours.
just for them to come back and tell me that they were going to put me on a blood thinner. So I laid there for 6 hours waiting on them to bring me a pill in a cup, basically. And I want to say it was a physician's assistant. I don't think it was a nurse practitioner. I think it was a PA. Came in there and he was like, okay, this is basically what's going on. You have a blood clot that's located in your leg. And then the vein that it's actually in is in a vein that if it moves, you can end up getting a pulmonary embolism and probably dying. And I was like,
wow. Oh my
so
gosh.
all of this escalated really, really quickly. And like, I was so
Yeah.
scared. So when he said that, I just burst out into tears because I really didn't know what else to do. And I'm not used to being sick. I've never had health issues or anything like that. So this was like, I would say honestly, probably like my first real health scare that I had, I guess, since I've been like an adult or whatever. But that's what he said. So he ended up giving me Xarelto, was the blood thinner that he gave me. He was like, "You're gonna take this. This is what I'm gonna write you a prescription for." And you know, Xarelto, I don't know if you all are familiar with it, but it's a Schedule 3 drug, I believe. So it's it's a very strong drug. Very, very strong drug. And so literally what my instructions was to do was I think I was supposed to take it 2 times a day, I believe is what it was. And so I just followed suit, was taking it. And literally in my process of taking it, I think by the time I made it to like the 3rd day or the 4th day of taking it, I was actually at work. And at this time I could still walk. So put a pin there. I was actually at work and I was sitting at work and all of a sudden like my mouth started bleeding. And so I was just thinking that, you know how sometimes your gums bleed because sometimes they're irritated or something, or even like when I'm ovulating, my gums get really, really sensitive. So I didn't really know what was going on. And so I rushed to the bathroom. I was like, okay, it was just a little bit blood then. And I was like, well, let me find some salt water and, switch it real quick and I'll go back to working. And I did. I found some. I switched it really quick, went back to my desk, and literally probably an hour later, my gums just started gushing blood, like right there at the desk. And I literally had to run. Girl, it was so scary. I had to run and tell my manager, um, I have to go. I have an emergency. Didn't even care what the manager said, of course. So I ran out the door, and luckily I lived like 10 minutes away from where I worked at the time. So I ran out the door. I know, ran out the door, made it all the way home, and got home. And by the time I got home, like my mouth had so much blood in it, Sasha, like it was crazy. I was literally standing in the bathroom in the mirror, stuffing my mouth with cotton balls. Like, and I had to switch them out like every 20 seconds. It was so much blood that was coming out of my mouth.
They were coming from your gums?
From my gums. My gums were just bleeding. They were just bleeding out.
So what about the medicine they gave you, the blood thinner? That didn't work?
The blood thinner was what was causing them to bleed out. So a side effect of some blood thinners is that you will bleed out. And like I said, the Xarelto is a really strong blood, and my body, it was too strong for my body, basically, is what it came down to. So my body was basically ended up going into shock, is what happened. I was switching out cotton balls probably like every 20 seconds, like mouth full. I wish I still had the pictures in my phone, but like mouth full of blood, switching the cotton balls out. And literally had got so bad to the point where it was exhaustion because I had lost so much blood. So I just came upstairs. My mama wasn't home yet. And I had came upstairs and I just laid down. The next day that I woke up, I had flu symptoms. I had the chills. I was sweating like hot flat. Like it was crazy. Like everything was just so jacked up. And I was so like weak because I had bled out much blood. My body had went into shock because I had bled out so much blood. So I ended up having to go to my doctor. And I told my doctor what happened. And so they basically diagnosed me with what they call deep vein thrombosis, DVT. And so he was like, you have to come off this blood thinner immediately because this is too strong. He was like, I'm going to put you on a less strong blood thinner. It's called, at the time, the I guess like the best brand is called 𝐔𝐬𝐢𝐧𝐭𝐫𝐿𝐲, but he put me on the generic brand, which was called enoxaparin is what it's called, and it was a shot that I would have to shoot in my stomach twice a day.
Wow.
So
All of this
he ended up doing
from
that.
birth control, guys. For people coming in, all of this is from birth control for 3 weeks.
For 3 weeks. I didn't even make it to my next cycle. So imagine I still had to have my cycle while I was going through that was happening. My cycle did end up coming. It was a lot. So he ended up putting me on that blood thinner, and I had to shoot it in my stomach twice a day. And he ended up sending me to a hematologist at the West Cancer Clinic downtown here in Memphis. And I had to see her for 6 months. So literally they're trying to make sure like run tests on me and make sure like my blood wasn't the type of blood that just likes to clot, or was it actually induced by something, which I told them that it was. So I was like, I've never had blood clot issues. This actually happened when I started doing this. And in the process of me switching blood thinners and going to actually see the hematologist, I had a blood clot in my right leg. I ended up developing one in my left leg. Yep.
Wow.
So it had got so bad to the point where, Sasha, I literally got up to stand up one day and I fell over because my legs were so heavy and I couldn't walk. So like I lost my ability to walk for like 2 weeks. Like I literally crawled.
Oh my God.
I couldn't go to work. And it was so crazy because work was like, well, if you're going to be out, like we need to go ahead and put you on short-term disability. They didn't. Like they was just like, you die here.
That's
we
crazy.
don't care it out. But literally had lost my ability to walk. And so it was just like, it was so heartbreaking because I had got out the bed that morning trying to see if I could stand up. And literally I just fell to the ground. I couldn't stand up. I could not stand up. So at the time, my mama still had enough mobility to where she could come up the steps. So she would literally bring me food, come up the steps. She would come up here, bathe me, do it because I couldn't do it. I couldn't stand up. I couldn't do it. And literally, like, as I started getting the other blood thinner in my system, luckily the one that had developed in my left leg, it actually dissolved pretty quickly. Okay. The one that was in my right leg, it took a little time. And then I had like this heaviness that was in my legs. It was really, really like weird. I don't know if that was from the birth control that I took, or if it was from the blood thinners, or just the fact that the blood clot was there, and maybe it was causing a blockage. Maybe that's why my legs were feeling so heavy. But after a while, that started to wear off too. So my mom had taken me to like my doctor's appointments and stuff like that. Like it was really, really hard. But basically ended up getting to the point to where I had to teach myself how to walk again. And then literally got to the point where, I ended up, becoming okay. I taught myself how to walk again. I started getting back doing I completed my 6 months with my hematologist, and everything ended up checking out to be okay. So when I say never have to do it again, never have to do it again, I never have to do it again. Yeah, so that's pretty much a rush version of my story.
Oh my gosh. I did not expect, I knew it was a bad situation. I didn't expect it to be that bad. That is horrible. All of that after just using birth control for 3 weeks. Ladies, I hope you guys are listening. 3 weeks on birth control. And the women that are probably listening are like, okay, that's just one person. No, you don't understand how common it is for your body to react negatively to birth control. And some women, when they're on the birth control, they don't feel the effects because it's suppressing your own natural hormones. It's suppressing your ovulation. So some women don't feel any effects. They're like, oh, that's why women were coming on my comments saying, oh, I've been on birth control for 5 years, 15 years, and I'm doing fine. But here's the thing, though. What's going to happen afterwards? Because a lot of women, after being on birth control, develop lots of health issues. This is very common. I'm telling you, as somebody that literally now, actually, before you become a client of mine, that's one of the questions I ask you. Have you been on birth control ever? Even if it was 10 years ago, even if it was 20 years ago, because the number of women that were coming to me that had been on birth control with people that had health issues, I'm talking about anything from, fibroids to PCOS to uterine, heavy bleeding to uterine prolapse to blood clots, all of them have been on birth control. And if you look at the studies, we see what birth control typically does to your body, it's not surprising. And it's crazy. And It's just, you know, what birth control, the fact that their doctors still out here pushing this, especially to teenagers, it pisses me off to do it to all women, but especially to the teenagers, is really like very, very, not just shocking, but it makes me trust in the the Western medical system complete trust, you know? So it's just, to me, I just can't believe you went through all that. Like, you pretty much lost your ability to walk. You almost died, which is crazy, being on birth control for 3 weeks. And there were so many women too commenting, you know, saying that, you know, my friend or, you know, somebody they knew died from being on birth control, got breast cancer for being on birth control. So this is not a joke. Yes. So, I mean, one of my former clients said that. And there was another woman that said that as well. And I see Elle on. Hey, Elle. She came on. I think she's still on. But here's the thing, like, this is not a joke. Like, you know, when we say, because a lot of women, if they had a good experience or what they think is a good experience on birth control, or nothing's happening to them at that moment, they, you know what I mean, they're quick to, when they see, you know, things about me posting things about birth control, comment on it. I have to delete their comments though. Comment on it and say, well, I've been on it and everything's fine. It's not for everybody. You don't know that. You don't know how birth control is going to affect you after years later. You don't know that. It may not affect some people. It affects them while they're on the pill. Some people it affects them right after. Some people, it literally affects them years later. Because you have to understand, if you really do the research and see what it's doing to your body, whenever you're suppressing your hormones, whenever you're suppressing your ovulation, right? Whenever you are, you know, having your body flooded with, you know, fake estrogen, all these synthetic hormones, you cannot think that there's not going to be any repercussions to that. Like, we have to be real here. Your liver, your organs can't handle all that stuff. It's not going to be able. And if you guys, can you guys hear me perfectly, by the way? I don't know. Anyway. Okay, you can hear me perfect. Okay. So your organs are not going to be able to handle all that stuff. So your organs, especially your liver, has to break down your own natural hormones, excess waste, excess toxins, right? And then you go and dump all these, you know, synthetic hormones into your body. What do you think? Like, what do you think that's going to, like, your liver's going to do with that? It's going to be a huge stress. So that's why women with on birth control, a lot of times they're actually experiencing really negative symptoms on it. Some of them afterwards, but some of them on it, right? And then I want to read some of these studies for you guys. That, because these studies blew my mind. And some people may see, you know, when I tell them, you know, birth control increases your cancer risk by 30%, breast cancer risk by 30%, they may not care about that. It increases the risk of blood clots. They may hear stories of people dying on birth control. They may not care about that, but you might care about this one, okay? So this was a study done. If you want to read, you guys can read it. It's called the clitoris study. You guys can Google it. And also it's in the book. What is that book called? The Fifth Vital Sign. Okay, it's in this book. I think it's like chapter 7, right? There was a study done. This was 40. They took a bunch of women, 40 healthy women, right, that were on birth control. 40, and they tested those women. They did hormone testing. They did vaginal exams. They screened the clitoris and all that stuff, right? So they divided them into two groups, the 40 women into two groups. When they put one on, I think birth control, Yasmin or whatever, the other one on NuvaRing, right? So two different groups. They was on it for 6 months, okay? So after the 6 months, they brought them back for, you know, for again, examining, you know, vaginal exam, hormone testing, all that stuff, right? Examining their clitoris. What they found out, you're gonna be shocked. What they found out is all of the women, not just some, not just one or two, all of the women had a reduction in their clitoris volume. So their clitoris shrunk. Wow. Listen, a lot of things don't shock me. That shocked me. Because I know how horrible birth control is. So a lot of things, when I hear things about birth control, don't shock me that much. That shocked me. So the average reduction rate was by 20%. Their clitoris shrunk by 20% from being on birth control. Isn't that crazy? And
that's scary.
That's exactly.
Oh my God, that's also so scary.
Too, not just that. Also, too, the ovaries shrunk by 50%. Yes. Yeah, I mean, and also too, so when you're on birth control, like also your sex hormones, right, are much less, right? They're being suppressed, right? So hey psychic, hey psychic serenity. So your natural hormones are being suppressed. So things like, you know, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, important hormones that we actually need in the body, testosterone specifically is being reduced. So even after being off birth control, your testosterone levels are still reduced, and we need that. Because one might say, well, why do we need testosterone for? We still need that. That's the main hormone that's active when you are ovulating, right? So what happens to our body when our testosterone levels reduce? Well, this is where we get low libido, because a lot of women have reported low libido, painful sex during, after being on birth control, even after birth control. So, and the reason for that is that what's going on is it's when you're on birth control and it's reducing your testosterone levels, your vulva tissues are thinning. So that's where that painful sex is coming from. Yeah. So this really goes deep when it comes to birth control. So I was like, if there was a drug out there or like a contraceptive out there for men, right, that was shrinking the penis, do you think that would be out very long?
Absolutely
do you think
not.
Exactly. Do you think that would be out very long? Like the whole world would be outraged. Yeah. So that's why this is very, I want more and more women to know this. A lot of women don't understand that what birth control typically really does to the body. And I've heard women ask me, well, what about copper IUD? What about, the non-hormonal one? Listen, none of the birth control come without repercussions. Let's talk about the copper IUD, because a lot of women that's on it report heavier menstrual cycles, okay? Increased vaginal discharge, which is a concern, okay? Also increased vaginal pain as well. So more cramps on it. And also, too, it depletes zinc, which is a very important nutrient, especially to ovulation. It depletes zinc in the body. And also, too, you can get copper, what is it called? Copper exposure, right? So increased levels of copper in your body. So it does a lot of harm to the body as well, even the non-hormonal ones. It may not do as much harm as the hormonal ones, but it still does harm in the body. What Tanika was just describing to us was from a low hormonal birth control pill. Okay. So, yeah.
And I think just going back to like the whole health aspect of it too. So like just from a holistic perspective. So if you just think about the things that we put in our bodies that we know are not supposed to be there, you have to remember that a lot of the issues, they start with our good health. They start with, what we digest and what we ingest, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're putting like all of these foreign things that are inside of your body, and your body is a very complex computer, but if you're steadily putting all of these foreign things inside of your body that your body was never created to like break down or like work with or like, manage, you have to like kind of start to think about like what the repercussions of that may be, which like an example of that is fast food and the additives that are in preservatives. Our bodies are not made to be able to break those down. That's why people gain weight and they get sick from them, because our bodies are like, that's a foreign entity inside of here. Like, what is that? We don't know what that is. And it doesn't know how to attack it. So people end up developing diseases and getting sick just from that aspect. So when you think of like IUDs and stuff like that, like if you think of inserting,
froze. Can anybody else hear Tanika? Okay.
IUD.
Oh no.
When you think about like inserting the IUD or some sort of other type of birth control into your body, you really have to think about like this is some sort of a foreign thing that my body is not used to. It could go right and it could go really, really wrong. But my advice, just based off of my experience, is I know that there are people that there may be, some situations to where you absolutely have to have some form of birth control. I get it. But even if you feel like that's something that you absolutely have to have, like you have completely exhausted all other options and no other option is a great fit for you, I still would challenge you to be able to seek somebody like Sasha, who, even while you're on it, okay, let's go ahead and try this holistic way out, and maybe you can get ready to come off of it. Because truthfully and honestly, a lot of the issues that we struggle with, not just from the female perspective, but just holistically, like our functionalities in our body, the diseases and the sicknesses that we encounter, they typically have some sort of holistic way that you can heal from, and that's less damaging, if you will, to the body. It has less, if any, side effects to the body. And when you think about it, like she's talking about, gratefully, I haven't had, or at least I don't think I've had, like anything that has really popped up since that experience. So like, I don't think I've had any issues with my hormones. My hormones have never been like really imbalanced or anything like that anyway. I've always had regular menstrual cycles. The only thing was the cramping and the clotting. Now that I've been on my own health journey for like the past 3 years, my cramping and my clotting is not as bad anymore. Or sometimes it's even non-existent. It just depends on how well behaved I am that month, right? So the thing is, like, there are different ways for you to come in and truly take care of yourself if you just have a little bit of patience. Like, a lot of the stuff that Sasha is talking about, like, you guys, this stuff is real. It's really, really real. And like I said, even being a proponent of my own health journey, like the things that I see, and a lot of my clients are in the health, beauty, and wellness space. So a lot of the conversations that, you know, if I'm with them at events and stuff like that, a lot of the conversations and stuff that I hear, most of the stuff is stuff that if we had a little bit of patience, or if we had a little bit more of an open mind and an open heart, we would be able to receive, like, hey, this could really work for me, because why can't it work for you? You
Exactly.
know? So that's just my advice.
Exactly. And a lot of women, and I'm so happy you said that, because this is a segue to what I want to talk about too. A lot of women said that they're on birth control due to their fibroids, their heavy bleeding, you know, maybe their PCOS symptoms, all of which you can heal on your own. Okay. Are you talking to somebody that's had fibroids in the past, that's had twice actually, that's had heavy bleeding in the past, have healed all that stuff on my own, anemia and other things too, have healed all those things on my own without birth control, okay? Because now they're saying that birth control can help regulate your hormones, which is crazy, because it's literally flooding your body with synthetic hormones. How can it help? It does the opposite, right? So it's you have to get down to the root of the problem. Why are you having heavy bleeding? Why are you having anemia? There's a reason for that, right? You have to heal that. You have to, like I said, get to the root cause of the problem, heal that. Why are you getting fibroids? These are symptoms of a much larger problem, okay? So you think that birth control is going to be your saving grace, and just because maybe while you're on it, you're not going to have heavy bleeding or feel cramps or whatever. But what's going to happen when you get off of it? What's going to happen to your body? What's going on with your body while you're on it, really? You know, behind the scenes. So we have to stop, you know, wanting to mask these problems, treatment. No, you have to get to the root cause of the problem. How about you heal? And I always tell women, you are worthy of healing. Like, a lot of women I don't know whether it's like a lack of self-love. You are worthy of healing, okay? So we have to, like I said, we have to do better. If you guys need help with getting rid of heavy bleeding, fibroids, PCOS, these are things that I've done on myself, on my clients, and on myself in the past, okay? You have help here. If you can click the link on my caption and subscribe to my email list, okay? And you get a free mini training, 10-minute mini training on estrogen dominance, because most women are estrogen dominant, and fibroids, okay? So I want you guys, like I said, when it comes to birth control, to not resort to these things that are literally killing us in order to see relief. When you can just, like I said, make some changes, heal your gut health, get rid of the toxic, because when you have these things, you have a toxic overload in the body. So get rid of that stuff, detoxify your body, okay? So you can have easy, menstrual cycles, okay? So it's really important. And also, too, I wanted to compare birth control to cigarettes, because I think I did earlier, but I wanted to say this. For somebody to say, oh, I'm on this birth control for 5 years and it's not affecting me, is equivalent to somebody, that's been smoking cigarettes, them saying, oh, I've been on Newports for 5 years and it's not affecting me. I've been smoking Newports it's equivalent. It's the same thing. I really think they have the same, like, they're both very detrimental to your health. They both, increase the risk of cancer, just different types of cancer. Right? So birth control in my eyes is just as bad as cigarettes. But at least people that smoke cigarettes are smart enough not to, put it out there, oh, it's not affecting me. They're smart enough to know, hey, what I'm doing is bad. So I'm not, but that's on me, right? And they're smart enough to know that. But people that's on birth control, they don't realize that. No, what you're doing is very detrimental. You may not feel the effects yet, but you're going to feel the effects later, more than likely. Okay? So you don't know how different things affect your body, because there's a lot of things that there's a lot of illnesses or whatever, diseases, autoimmune disorders that you may have. You may not link that back to the birth control that you was on 5 years ago, but guess what? It's linked. Okay, it's linked. So I just want you guys to realize that, and we gotta start thinking critically when it comes to our health, and not just inserting things to make things feel better. And really, like I said, get to the root cause of the problem. If you guys need help, I'm here. There's other amazing. You don't want to work with me. There's other amazing, holistic wound health coaches that can help you get to the root cause of the problem and heal that problem. Because guess what? If you continue to go on through life with a hormone imbalance, with these with anemia, you're literally deteriorating your own health, and it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. And the only situation for you is to hysterectomy, which is not a saving grace, because guess what? It puts you into early menopause, and then you get health issues after that. You have to, like, you can't get away from getting to the root cause of the problem and healing your body. You just can't get away from it, right? You cannot get away from that, right? So you have, it's the choice is yours. You don't have to suffer from, I always say, menstrual problems, fibroids, PCOS. At this point, we're in 2023. That stuff is a choice. I don't care what nobody says. And you're talking to somebody that's had it. That stuff is a choice. Fibroids is a choice. Heavy bleeding is a choice. All those reproductive health issues, they're a choice at this point. I mean, if you know this information, if you know that there are people there that can literally help you heal it, if you've seen them help other people heal it, and you just decide, well, I'm too busy to do anything about it, well, that's a choice. So you might as well stop going on social media and complaining about it on posts, because if you're not going to do anything about it, then what? Okay? It doesn't make any sense. So, like, you guys are grown. If you guys want to be on birth control, that's fine. But at the same time, I don't want you to push that out there to children, people that's under 18. I don't want you to push that out there to other people thinking that, oh, this one is so great, because it's not. Just be by yourself and take your birth control. That's what you want to do. If you want to put your body, if you want to risk death, I mean, look at Taneka's story. She almost died for me on birth control for 3 months. Excuse me, for 3 weeks. Almost died. If that's what you guys want to experience, you guys want to risk your life, that's on you. Okay? And let me answer the question. I got the question, what can we do? Since for people that's using it to prevent having children, which I totally understand, what can we do instead? Okay? And I always say this, I hate answering this question. I'm like, y'all, this is common sense. Like, come on, are we doing, like, I feel like I'm going back to high school or health class. Like, y'all, come on now. Like, okay. So, like, let's pretend we're in health class now. Now, my advice always is different for married women and unmarried women. That's just what it is. I mean, so if you are unmarried, I would suggest using condoms. Okay? I know a lot of people are gonna be mad about that. And somebody asked me too, what do you recommend the teenagers use? You can't tell them not to have sex. Condoms. Teenagers should be using condoms. Duh. I mean, come on now. Everybody, but if you want to play Russian roulette, with your reproductive organs, that's on you. But that's the risk you take. Now, another option, if you're, like, let's say you're married or you're in a serious relationship, you don't want to get pregnant right now. Another option, right, would be to actually track your menstrual cycle. Did you know that you can only get pregnant about 6 days out of the month? You can't get pregnant every single day of the month, right? So if your hormones are balanced, you should know as a woman when you're ovulating, right? So all the way up until like 2 days before ovulation to, I would say, 3 to 4 days after, right? That should be the no sex zone, okay? If you don't want to get pregnant, right? Because your fertility is high during that time, okay? So, you can extend that out to 10 days just to be on the safe side, just to be extra safe. But you guys should know that you can't get pregnant. A lot of women don't understand their bodies anyway. But I need you guys to download the Flow app, okay? Track your cycle. You need to know as a woman when you're ovulating, whether you're having healthy ovulations, because ovulation equals vitality and health. You cannot have a real menstrual cycle if you're not ovulating. So you guys that are not ovulating, that's not a real cycle. That's just breakthrough bleeding. You guys that are on birth control, that's not a real cycle. You can't have a real cycle without ovulation. Ovulation is the main event, okay? That's how important it is. And if you're not ovulating, again, that's going to have an impact on your health, okay? That's how important ovulation is, okay? So I want you to understand this. Also, too, there's an herb. I've never tried it, but there's an herb, I've been doing some research on it, called neem oil, neem oil, NEEM, that is all natural, that kills sperm on contact. So there you go, okay? For people that don't want to use condoms, there you go. If y'all want to play Russian roulette, go ahead. But anyway, ladies, make sure you guys share this live, by the way. If you're on here, please share this live. More women need to see this in all honesty, because more women need to know, look, this birth control is deadly. I don't care if it's the IUD. I don't care. And if you guys have questions, please let me know. Whether it's the IUD, whether it's the copper IUD, or I get all these questions. The NuvaRing, the pills, the low hormonal one. What else is there? It doesn't matter, because I always get, well, what about this birth control? What about that? They're all bad, all of them. all of them, okay? All of them, they're all put, like I said, they all damage the body somehow, some way. And most birth controls, the type of hormones they have in it is not your own natural hormone. So it may be a different form of progesterone, and a synthetic form of progesterone, estrogen, is not your body's natural hormone. Your body is not going to recognize that stuff, and that's why you feel like that. You feel like that when you're on birth control. Okay. Yep. So once you guys understand that, again, share this live, and if you guys need help, if you guys have fibroids, if you guys have heavy bleeding, and you're using acne, or if you're using birth control for any of these issues, please contact me. I'm here. I literally have a whole course on how to eliminate heavy bleeding. Okay. I literally have a whole program. I have different courses that have a whole program on helping women get rid of fibroids, helping women shrink and eliminate, cysts, okay? Get rid of PCOS, get rid of diabetes, any issues dealing with the reproductive organs, okay? Because if you don't have a healthy womb as a woman, if your hormones are not balanced, then that means you're not healthy. Your health is compromised. And whenever you're dealing with anything dealing with the menstrual cycle or the body, there's a bigger reason for that. So my program helps you get to the root cause of the problem and to heal it from the root. There are specific things that you need to do to heal that, okay? So if you need to be Testify Your Womb program, like I said, it's had tons of success. I post testimonials damn near, not every other day, every day. I don't know. But if you're interested in it, then again, the link is in my caption. If you're interested in joining my email list for a 10-minute mini free video, the link is in my caption as well, okay? Do something about your problems. Don't just sit on them, because they'll only get worse. I'm still so sick of it. They only get worse. Those fibers are going to keep growing. The heavy bleeding is going to get worse. The anemia is going to get worse. You cannot just continue to sit on your issues and not do anything about them. When there's natural ways, and birth control is not going to help you in the long run. There are natural ways to get rid of these problems, not just and to heal them from the root, so they don't continue coming back. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Thank you so much, Taneka. Thank you so much for being on and telling your story and being transparent.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, and I really do hope that this helps people become more proactive. Because one of the things that we have an issue with as a society is we're not proactive about our health. We wait until our leg is about to fall off, and then all of a sudden we need to find a solution. So don't be that person that has listened to this information and is scared. I would be more scared about you losing your life versus you trying a holistic solution just to see if it works, which why wouldn't it? So start being a proactive person. Take your health seriously, because you only get one you. And that's the biggest thing that I've learned ever since that situation happened. My ability to walk, I walk everywhere and will gladly walk everywhere because I appreciate the fact that I can. So it definitely changes your perspective on how you make your health a priority, but don't let a health scare be the reason that you decide to make the decision. Be proactive if you know you're seeing early signs of these issues. And you can't say you don't have the resources now. Like, she's sitting right here in front of you. She is. Exactly. So don't say that you don't have don't say that you don't have the resources. Don't say that you don't know how to get to the bottom of the solution, but also just emphasizing as well too, learn to have patience, because the issue that you have didn't happen overnight. So the healing portion of it is not going to happen overnight. It will happen, in a decent speed, but the healing portion of it is not going to happen overnight either. But just having the belief and knowing that it's a possibility and knowing that you can do it, like it's going to work if you do what you're supposed to do, right? So just start being more proactive about the things that are happening with you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. You're so right about that. Like, when it comes to like health issues, and we're about to get over, I want to say this, when it comes to like health issues, if you don't do anything about it now, later on it's going to hit your pockets. I posted yesterday that hysterectomies are, I think somebody paid $4,000 for as a copay, and they had insurance. $4,000, okay, to take out their whole uterus, to speed them into menopause so they can have more health issues. Is it really worth it? No, it's not. Just because you don't want to do the work to, like I said, if you're listening to this, you know that there's another way. Some people that really don't know, they've never heard there's another way. If you're listening to this, you know there's another way. Okay, so it's on you. It's on you. The choice is yours. But I need you to get off the birth control. Seriously, I need you to, if your daughter's on birth control, if your niece is on birth control, please get them off the birth control. You're literally killing them. Okay, you're not like really. Okay, so that's pretty much it, guys. Again, please share the live. More women need to see this. And again, thank you so much, Taneka, for being on and telling us your story.
Thank
Yay.
you. Thank you for having me. I hope
You're
y'all
welcome.
enjoyed it and got something from
Yes.
it. So
And make sure y'all are following Taneka, please. Make sure y'all are Tanika. She's amazing. And make sure too, if you, like I said, subscribe to my email list. The link is in my caption. And yeah, get a free 10-minute video on estrogen dominance and fibroids. All right. Bye, everybody. Bye,
bye,
guys.
y'all.